Mike.
Thank you for that, Jonathan. That was a very nice breakdown by yourself. So TNC basically need to win to avoid tiebreakers here for all of us, I suppose. Though you and I, we love tiebreakers, John. So, you know, why the hell not? Tiebreakers, if they're going to happen, let them happen. I know Div 1's looking very likely to have tiebreakers right now, so why not add a few more? Make it even spicier here for Div 2. Still, the drafts have begun, John. Dawnbreaker, Void Spirit here, the opening for TNC, Predator, and Atlantis. They go right into the Puck and the Tiny. What do you think about these openings?
I think we've seen Puck Tiny a few times. We saw it a lot from Neon, right? Like they were giving Avatar mode Puck, Chuan Tiny, trying to go for the toss Dream Coil play, go for the burst damage, get that blink timing on Tiny. Still effective. I think for Atlantis, there's a little bit more flex potential. They could try to pause one Tiny. Does tend to be support. They pick up the Coddle now on Atlantis as well, so the spam ability with the Tiny, if it is, say, a Tiny 1 with a Coddle 5, it feels pretty good in lane. Your uptime on Avalanche Toss, even in the lane, is going to feel good. Even just Tree Grab on a lower cooldown allows you to farm that lane a lot better as well for the pause 1 Tiny. So I like where it's going for Atlantis. You've got a great tie-in with Dream Coil, but TNC bringing out the big guy. Pudge coming out with the Sky Rat Mage, along with the Dawnbreaker. This is such a fantastic lineup, at least in terms of the spice. But Atlantis, of course, pick the Ursa, great foil to the Pudge, big strength hero, so you can just rip right through, Fury Swipe stack up, and the Ursa should be able to just rip you apart. The stat resist Ursa gets on his ult as well makes it pretty hard for Pudge to just dismember him. So, you know, and with the Ags build up, just being able to use that Enrage anytime means Pudge is not going to be your lockdown here. In fact, you don't really have the best lockdown for that Ursa. Keen to see TNC, though, again, going into the Pudge, going a bit exciting here for the make or break series, determining whether or not we have tiebreakers almost. Pudge for Krish on safe. I don't know if we've really seen that from Krish or Yoa, actually, either of them, whoever does decide to play that safe lane Pudge. I don't think we've seen that too often from them, so I'm keen to see how TNC plays around that. I do believe that should be Yoa safe lane Pudge, Krish mid Void Spirit. I feel like that's the way to go, and I have no clue what to expect. There's still a bit of a weird foil here. You could flex Pudge off lane Dawnbreaker safe, and that honestly sounds a little bit better for me, just because it's still a strength hero. The matchup against Ursa still sucks, but I feel like Dawnbreaker scales in a much more straightforward way in comparison to Pudge. So I think that could be one way to go. Then again, Pudge up against Ursa on the offlane safe lane is pretty bad, so you might avoid that.
It's going to be very interesting. Like, I do agree, the Ursa pick was very good into the into what appears to be a pos 1 Pudge, and even if it's not a pos 1 Pudge, like into the Dawnbreaker, into the Void Spirit, it just does very well no matter what's being thrown at it. I really like that pos 1 Ursa coming out from Atlantis. I'm just more curious as to what TNC's trying to do here with their own draft. We've seen a lot of pos 1 Pudge. It is very powerful. There's no doubting that. You get the Ags up, you get that crazy rot radius bonus, and the amount of damage you can pump out is pretty ridiculous with Pudge. As well as that, John, he is literally one of the fastest pos 1 farmers in the game right now.
He is.
Just rot, way too good of a farming ability. Has it worked very often, though? No. I feel like every time you and I cast it, pos 1 Pudge just doesn't work. And against Ursa,
not quite.
Against Ursa, it's even worse. Like, there's just... It's a very hard matchup.
It is, and I'm keen to see if TNC can try to make that work. I do want to correct a little bit. You did say thank you to Nino. Thank you to Nina for giving us that info on the tiebreakers and all of that stuff. Very hard working at it. You gotta keep Nina happy, Mike, every now and again. Yeah, but fellow has to be happy.
I thanked you for reciting the things he told you, John.
Just to clarify, it was Nina. Just to make sure chat's on the same page. That. You can ping Nina. He's a very, very smart guy. Sometimes, occasionally.
I was waiting for it. I was about to have to correct you for a moment there, John. Yes, thank you to the lovely Nino who has provided us. He is doing a great job as admin though, John. As much crap as I like to give him, you know. Enchantress is the last pickup now for TNC. Predator, interesting support duo as well, John. No stuns. Literally no stuns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I like this. This is brave. I like the braveness of TNC. You know, they're just going all out. We have potentially a Carlos Sky with a Mavis Ench. You could swap that around. a Bach offlane Dawnbreaker. Again, Yoe Pudge. This if you were gonna go into a make or break series like this
I love it.
with TNC, you gotta go spicy. You gotta go spicy. Of course, Atlantis' lineup. I think you and I will agree. Just because of that Ursa, it just feels a lot better. No matter what they picked last year, it just feels like they have the answers, though.
Yeah. And props to TNC, though. I must admit, every time there's been an elimination series in playoffs or whatever, or whether it's DPC, they're always choosing very entertaining drafts. And I can always appreciate that from TNC Predators. They will put on a show no matter whether they win or not. And now an LC comes out, which is even better for Atlantis, because you have... Like, there's no stuns already, John. You've got an Aether Remnant, you've got a Starbreaker, you've got Dismember. Those are your stuns. Maybe later on you get a Rod of Atos on the Skyrath if you're lucky. All of that gets purged off by Press the Attack. So now, any disable you did have is down the toilet, if you are TNC Predator, assuming, of course, WS is around to be able to purge that off. And like you pointed out earlier, you've got Enrage on the Ursa. He's not going to be afraid of these disables. I think the team fight's better on Atlantis. How do TNC actually win this game? Like, at what point are they stronger as a team? Like, maybe the laning stage? They're probably stronger during the lanes, I'd say.
Just look for a win in the laning phase, go for these aggressive ganks, try to hit level 6 super fast, and go for pickoffs. Always go for pickoffs. You can't rest here for TNC. You have no long cooldowns outside of maybe Solar Guardian. That's pretty much it. So just run and gun and force these fights, take objectives off the back of it with your Enchantress, and shrink the map. If you can do that, you can suppress Atlantis. But for Atlantis, it doesn't feel like an issue holding back here. You have the Kotl to clear out the waves, deal with the Enchantress creeps. Even Tiny can kind of get that job done. And you can be aggressive with a Puck and Legion Commander, along with the Tiny Tossback. So I don't think Atlantis is going to be dissuaded too hard from that early pressure from TNC, but it can still be overwhelming if TNC does find that early start here, Mike.
It certainly can be, Jonathan. I'm not saying TNC's out of this game by any stretch just based off the draft. I'm sure they have their own game plan. It's just a very interesting game plan I'm expecting here. And again, I'd like to thank TNC for making it an entertaining game straight off the bat. I love these kind of games with the Pos 1 Pudge coming out, and let's see how it all breaks down. Game number 1 here between TNC and Atlantis. Already, you know, have funds are going out, the good lucks are going out, and everyone's tipping. So it seems like both teams are in a good state of mind. Sorry, John, what was that? Pokemon Boy.
Pokemon Boy. That's what Ponyo just all chatted for some reason.
Well, the only bad news is, John, is it looks like I'm probably going to have to reconnect to get rid of this lag, but we're going to have potentially a 5-on-5 team fight. So excuse the lag for a moment, guys. SCA server issues again, from Oz at least.
You know what, Mike? My mouse isn't showing, so I don't have a mouse to use as well. I can restart at some point. It's literally not there. I can control my game with the keyboard, switch heroes with 1, 2, 3 to 0, and arrow keys, but I can't click on anything. So, you know, that's fun, Mike. Good to see.
On the brighter side, John, there's a surrender option in the game now, which is
oh yeah,
yeah.
You have to wait 30 minutes though, right? So you can't just GG out when your 5 stack is like tilted, and you have to be a group of 5.
I'll be frank, I don't think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing anyway. I'm just being sarcastic.
I think it's all right. Like, it's not the worst thing in the world. If a 5 stack needs to go, it's a 5 stack. So it's not like your solo queue is going to be affected. So it's perfectly fine, I think.
I suppose that is fair, John. Bounty runes. Gonna go 3-1 the way of Atlantis. So already a pretty nice start, though there might be a fight to break out as Mavis. He's gone a bit too far here on the high ground, but he's going to be able to heal himself up and be just fine. With that, Jonathan, that does mean I'll have a second now to restart the game to avoid this lag happening. So apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to quickly switch screens. John, go on. If you want to start with the bot lane, do some radio casting for us while I do this.
All right, on the bot lane, of course, we do have, if I can move my screen, Yoe on the Pudge with Mavis on that Enchantress laning up against WS and Ahyad on that Kotl Legion Commander. There's actually a lot of aggression you can get out here from Atlantis, just sustaining through with the overwhelming odds. With the Chakra Magic is actually pretty good. You do go for the level 1 passive here for WS, so he's looking for the right clicks back, kind of trading hits with Yoe while he doesn't have the highest amount of anything, and Pudge base armor isn't the highest as well, so some ways to punish. You do want the early levels here for Mavis as well. You kind of need that enchant up And we're going to see if they can get the levels. Do get the D ward off from the block camp, so it should be up by the time you have the enchant up and running. So you can kind of play around with that. Hello, Mike.
Yeah, bad news, John. It made it worse. So disconnecting did not work out this time, sadly. It's just made it completely worse. Oh, should I keep going, John? Should I just keep reconnecting, see how we go?
Keep going.
Keep going.
Eventually it'll work.
Yeah,
at some
eventually.
point.
Yeah. Go on, John. Keep
Now
up your
you-
casting. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I'll try to get this rectified as soon as I can.
Lovely people are stuck with me as we are currently taking a look at the top lane. Nice snipe on the Curry here from Ponyo. A bit of a dive forward with Celestial Hammer and the Starbreaker does miss onto Mangaros. Carlo dropping low is going to be first blood. Not quite. Mangaros still under threat, but Carlo is first to fall. Bok
Ah.
finds a cleanup onto Mangaros. Ponyo does manage to walk away. So support for a core. First blood bonus going the way of Mangaros, but you find the cleanup anyway. And think Bok's going to be happy with the solo EXP. Hello, Mike. Is it better?
Oh, I'm testing it as we speak, John. I'm getting a little bit frustrated hearing I've missed first blood again, which is a little bit annoying, but what can you do?
The radio's picked it up, Mikey. We're in the 1940s watching the ball game right now. It's all good.
We're fixed up. We're in, John.
Excellent.
Good news. No more lag, at least for now. Top lane. Ponyo in trouble again. Bok gonna go for a bit of a chase here, and they've got the concussive shot. Ponyo gonna drop. The 2 kills to go the way of TNC Predator now. The 1 of Atlantis, and this top lane not going too well at all for Atlantis.
Yeah, it's already a strong start for TNC. Again, this is probably their more aggressive lane. You can play really nicely with concussive shots. Slow, jump onto that Ursa. Sure, Fury Swipes is a great foil for these strength heroes. In the laning phase, it isn't quite. You're not going to be having that early overpower just yet. You do want the Earthshock to clear out the wave. And that just leads to this aggression coming out from TNC. So a strong foundation to play with up top.
Oh, you walked right into it. Very nice play there from Ahiad, just going for the Illuminate, and Yoe, he walked right into it, John. It just clipped him. Very unfortunate for the Pudge.
Yeah, and this is where the Pudge does feel a bit awkward with that Flesh Heap rework, right? Like, you do block damage. 7 damage in the grand scheme of Illuminate really isn't much. So as long as Ayed still lines up, and, you know, that's still a pretty long cooldown as well at level 1, you have a lot of opportunities. Good use of the creep, though.
Problem is, WS might just stand his ground here, but not getting lucky with the moment of courage, so just has to back out. Yoe looking for a hook, but the dodge is there from WS, and he does get away. It feels like you may have been able to just get that kill if you kept rotting, but ultimately WS going to be just fine. Now Mavis still going for a bit of a chase here with this Wild Wing Ripper. Trying to abuse the tornado as WS. Snare is there. He'll press the attack, but you've got the tornado back up now to drag him back. So WS actually going to go for a bit of a fight, hoping for the moment of courage. Is not going to get any, but will survive. So he's alive. Problem is, with the HP bar where it's at, John, he might have just rather died.
Yeah, at the least, yes, press the attack. No chakra just yet from Ahia that you can kind of sustain a little bit more here. Have to watch yourself. If Mavis finds the opportunity, will look for the snipe. I've never heard that one, but that completely caught me off guard.
It's a good one.
And it is a good one. That's exactly what we all say when everyone asks for a pause. Still looking like a rough and tumble lane for Yoe, but eventually this Pudge is just going to be hard to kill. Already with a Ring of Health and Ring of Regen, hard to contest him when he runs up.
Yoe, yeah, gonna move in. Press the attack is out, but with the enchanted creep around as well, it's just too much damage. Like, you've got the level 2 enchant, so plus 30 damage on the creep that you enchant as well. WS trying his best to survive, but Yoe able to pick up a kill here with his Enchantress, and makes him feel a little bit better about that death he had earlier on. So now 3-2, very slight net worth lead the way of Atlantis as the top lane. Bit of aggression here from Mango Rose, though they are going to try and turn back onto Bok and Carlo, but now they'll do the same. Back onto Ponyo. Bit of harassment onto the Tiny as Bok is going to try for a Starbreaker and actually lands the final swipe. It just won't matter in the grand scheme of things. He does not take enough damage. We just find to back himself out on the Tiny. Meanwhile, mid though, John. Wonder Boy gonna get stunned up here by our Ench. Seems like those power runes are gonna be kind of hard to secure here for Wonder Boy, but he'll stick around. Keep that mid lane matchup going, but you're gonna have Mavis there, and it looks like he wants to even abuse the siege creep coming in from the Radiant end. It's something you can do as the Ench, and it tends to be very effective.
Yep, tends to be, and this is going to be a problem. You've got a strong start for Krish down mid, It's still a rather even lane up against the puck, of course, but that threat for the kill is there. The mobility on the Void Spirit's up and running. Don't see the opportunity just yet for Wonder Boy to go for that Dream Coil, though.
Jump in. Krish, he's found Wonder Boy the first time. Wonder Boy, no phase shift available. Can throw out the Dream Coil if he wants to. He has another phase shift with an orb now. In fact, he will Dream Coil up to try and escape this with the Illuminate to fly through. They're trying to get enough damage out. In the meantime, while all this was happening mid lane, up at top lane, Mango Rose ends up going down on the Ursa. And the mid T1 tower, it's just slowly dropping to TNC.
I mean, you've got the Enchantress, you've got the Siege creep. You don't have a big creep to kind of help you here, but it's more than enough to chip away, force Ahia to actually show up here and try to clear this out with Wonder Boy. And already, again, a very strong start for the side of TNC. Atlantis, it's a bit slow going. Like, this timing on the Blink on the Tine, because it's pause 5, is going to be extra slow. The combination you have with the puck isn't going to be showing up. You don't really have the big opportunities for a duel here for WS, considering his laning start. And whether or not they actually go for those early duels is another question, because that will just leave you exposed for potentially a lot of damage coming through from the sky if he does get level 6 quickly here as well. So I think for Atlantis, key things to try to slow down, although...
Yeah, there is going to be a big Solar Guardian coming in from the bot lane. Bok going to find one as WS are out. Well, they're both going down here, down a bot. Really nice setup here from TNC Predator. Really abusing how strong their draft is right now. And even without any stuns available, they just, as long as they land the Dismember or the Remnant, you've always got the Solar Guardian to come in. And well, so far, TNC are doing a pretty darn good job of it.
Yeah, they're just showing up so far, playing that aggression. We talked about this being something TNC had to do. They have to take that early game, keep running down, don't give any breathing room. And so far, Atlantis has no room to breathe. They're constantly forced to rotate, forced to shift their lanes around, try to find a solution for the aggression. Now they're kind of trying to hold mid. Krish does grab another power rune, does have the invis. Could look for an opportunity. Mavis, again, camping that mid lane very well here.
Certainly is. He's going to move in now, Wonder Boy. He's going to Dream Coil for this. You've even got Ponyo around to try and help out with the Avalanche toss, but he's still surviving as Krish. He's going to jump in after the puck. Mavis not dying either. He's still alive. The Illuminate's not going to connect. Ponyo, he's the one in danger as the step is going to connect from Krish. That'll be another kill towards the way of TNC. As Krish is going to back his way out now. Even has the Tumbler's Toy to just bounce his way out. It's the one thing, like, even as the puck, you might have so much magic damage, but you never really want to go into the Ench anyway. And make matters worse, Mavis just doesn't die.
They don't manage to get the toss out to break on the coil. If they maybe got that little extra stun, you wouldn't have to deal with Nature's Attendants. And this is Enchantress without the level 6 yet. No untouchable up yet. Still a menace, although duel's out.
Yeah, the Rot's going though, John. They need some help on this duel as WS. He does eventually secure the kill, but does go down to Carlo as now Mavis. He's going to be able to back his way out. The chase is on though from Krish. He'd love to find Mango Rose on the Ursa. They will see him now. He was trying to juke them out by that tree line, but the Solar Guardian going to fly through. Bok will be able to secure the kill as Wonder Boy. Still trying to get out of there. We'll be able to jaunt out with the orb. It's still a favorable trade the way of TNC. You got the LC and the Ursa for the sake of your POS 1 Pudge. Definitely a nice fight here for the Radiant.
They're really, again, pushing the envelope. Really great timing for Mavis. He hits level 6 as he starts to get jumped. So he gets the untouchable when the Ursa wants to turn. Suddenly, you can't even find that Ench once more.
Oh boy, yeah.
Value for the Ench is shooting although.
Onyo, they might find the Skywrath, and they will. Carlo does go down. Krish, still thinking about going. You've even got Mavis coming in with the neutral creep, but it seems like they're going to be able to walk away with the kill onto Carlo. Nice pick up there from Atlantis. They'll give nothing back the way of TNC Predator.
Yeah, then find a pick off. They need everything they can get right now on Atlantis. This is some space to build up though. Yoa taking the time to just work the top and build into that Ags. Already has that Hood of Defiance. Once the Ags is up, you will not run. This Ursa is going to be a big kiteable target. We talked about that Enrage as a factor of getting away from Dismember. Yeah, it's good against that. It's not good against a Rotslow. So you'll have to kind of watch yourself there, as Yoa still has ways of dealing with him. What's up? Ooh, nice hook.
The Pudge, John, it was a very nice hook here from Yoa as WS in a bit of danger. Still going to try and survive, and again, hope for the procs of the moment of courage, but not going to be enough. Yoa might even try for another very soon, and John, Sadly, what I was going to show you has disappeared off the screen, so I'll have to wait till it comes back. Archeard, though, he might disappear off the screen as well in a moment. They won't have the hook angle, though. It was the Pudge, John. He was getting all bubbly all of a sudden.
Oh, it's fleshy back there, yeah.
Ponyo. Gonna go down and... No, I realized that part, John, but he looked kind of ridiculous is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's because of the persona. It just doesn't... It doesn't fit. Because, you know, it's like this, obviously a different set of stuff. They didn't update Flesh Heap to have special effects for the persona, so it just kind of looks strange.
Right.
Love what you're always doing. Take the smoke, dismember a creep, clear out the camp, work towards that Ags. Look at this very balanced farm. This takes me back to Necrophos level 1 jungle.
Oh,
beautiful.
The good old days. I remember when that first came out, right? The Ancients, right? You just let it tick away slowly. Holy crap, was that broken.
And you can do that with Pudge. Smoke, you could probably try Ancients if you're confident enough, probably not tanky enough on Yoa to try that, but hey, it's there in some spirit, Mike. The spirit of Ancients jungling Necrophos is still alive.
Absolutely. You love to see it. Mid lane. Oh, the tier 1 tower just not going to last here for Atlantis. They just cannot keep it alive. Nice pick up here from TNC. Top 2 cores on the board right now are both TNC heroes as well, John. The Dawnbreaker and the Pudge right behind each other is still a very rough affair for Atlantis. When you look back at Mango Rose, he's trying for a Battle Fury build-up. It's taking a very long time to even try to secure that. Meanwhile, this Keeper, top lane, going to try and run and does actually get away from the Wild Ring Ripper of Mavis. But it does seem like TNC is slowly just taking over this map. You haven't really hit any spikes here from Atlantis. Like, you are going to have to play the delay game now.
Yeah, and just going back to that Ursa build-up. Into the Battle of Fury, your farm will accelerate. Once that's up, it just feels like it's going to take a long time for that to be up. Side of Atlantis trying to get some space out, shoving in that bot. They lose their top in exchange. Slow process in the push. They've got good wave clear, not the best tower
Mango
takers.
Rose. Silence out. Can they lock him down with a remnant? Oh, they don't even need it. It does connect there from Krish, but an easy gank onto Mango. Bok, he's going to try and run the old-fashioned way, but does get stunned up there for a moment. Wonder Boy and WS going to try and move in with a great avalanche out from Ponyo. They'll lock him down with the duel. Krish is in big trouble, but how much trouble we talking?
What?
He'll dissimulate, move his way out. Krish, he's fine. Wonder Boy's going to go for a chase out with the orb. Remnant is there to catch him, though. He can't go any further. TNC going to walk out scot-free. Oh, he's going to reach
for Krish. He's back in.
The dream.
Yeah, it's just a perfect set of circumstances. TNC, the favored, the chosen by Ice Frog, of course, getting all the luck there, at least with the rune. And Atlantis, I like what they're doing. They're trying to be aggressive. They're trying to punish, but they're not able to find the angles. They're just so slippery on the side of TNC. You talked about the lack of lockdown. Same goes for Atlantis. They only really have Avalanche, Duel, and Dream Coil. 2 of those are ults. So you only really have Avalanche to stun, and it just doesn't feel like enough when you're playing against something like the Void Spirit here, Mike.
It certainly doesn't, John. Times are very rough now for Atlantis, 3k behind, and it just doesn't seem like TNC need to slow down anytime soon. Aetherland's even coming out on Carlo pretty early on for a Pos 4 Skyrath. But he has it up and available, and just kind of poke and prod in the middle of these team fights. So you're going to make it much easier to set up with the Ancient Seal as well. Silence up Wonder Boy. Or, of course, this Ursa being played by Mango Rose. And for now, of course, Atlantis, they understand they can't really force a fight. Even if they feel like they've got enough damage with their LC or with the puck, it hasn't proved to be enough. And speaking of this LC, WS, he doesn't even have a bit of dual damage yet, John. Very sad days here for the Legion Commander as Ponyo might at least find Carlo mid lane. Problem is Krish is around to try and help out, but they do end up getting the Skyrath. Nice little pick off there from Atlantis.
Again, they need to take what they can get. They need to start to build into this threat of Tiny Blink to really get that initiation going. They haven't managed to stall out long enough for Mango Rose to finish up that Battle Fury on his Ursa. So the farm should escalate, and you should start to build into BKB. That's when the core Pudge starts to feel really wonky. Your Rot upgrade with Ags is not going to do much against that long spell immunity on the early BKB here. So we'll see if they manage to maximize that on Atlantis when it is up. At TNC, does feel like they've kind of taken their time now. They're not looking for openings as much. They've left this Ursa alone long enough that, again, the farm is building up. They are clumping around, though, maybe getting ready for a smoke play after getting D-wards off. You could try to play. You still have this great combo of just Remnant along with Mystic Flare, and there's just nothing to stop that. If you catch one hero in, they're probably dead.
Top lane, they might have to aim down this keeper. He's been sitting around just defending this top tier 2 tower with the Illuminate. They are making their way over, and they're going to scout out with this Centaur Conqueror. This keeper, surprise of his life, in the tree line. He does get caught out by a neutral, and suddenly he's just gone. Very nice scouting there from Mavis. The keeper will try and buy a little bit of time, but can't buy too much for himself. And naturally, TNC, they just move right into the top tier 2 tower. Aghanim Scepter up on Yoe as well here, John. Decent spike for TNC. They want to try and abuse this. With that level 10 rot slow talent, it's just ridiculous how annoying this rot can be now. And speaking of Ags, I believe Krish has one on the way as well. So even more silences coming out from TNC.
They're starting to rack up that control. No early BKBs yet for Atlantis. No, they are queuing it up under Ursa and under Legion Commander, though, so it is going to be up eventually. Even Wonder Boy, knowing that he needs a BKB fast in this game on this puck. Question is whether or not they'll find that space. As you've lost your top tier 2. Mid is set next as TNC is trying to pressure around here. And Yo is just waiting for the opportunity to hook and reveal that Ags. It is going to be seen, so they know. They know the damage output's way too high now in the Pudge. Have to be cautious about engaging up against him.
What's down? They've got the vision here to fight Atlantis.
Ooh.
Top lane, though. Wonder Boy's gone. It's one of those things. Like, if you get caught by Carlo with that silence, there's just no way out for this puck. No BKB, no Lincolns, just no chance.
Not even something like an early Yule. It's again just rushing the BKB here. And that gives him an opening. Without the puck, there's no threat for the Dream Coil turn. You can look for some aggression here.
Yeah, Bok gonna have to let Ponyo go. The Avalanche saving the day as Bok even going for the solo Guardian on his own just to secure the kill. Won't quite get it though. And TNC, they're still on the hunt though. Like, they're just so confident now of this spike. There's just nothing to slow them down. How's Mango Rose gone? The Battle Fury up, but it's still a very slow process if you don't have creeps to hit. In fact, Krish is around as well. Love to snipe this Ursa. You're gonna see him now.
Smoke out.
Mavis gonna break the smoke. Nice smoke break here from the Ench. He won't mind dying for this at all. Hook is actually there. Ooh. They're gonna try and force this fight, but WS is gonna BKB up of his own now, so he's just gonna go for a run, and that is a very, very ugly looking piggy as WS. Well, he's gone a bit too far now. Wonder Boy's down. Maybe they at least find Yoen. They do, in fact. Mango Rose is gonna move in. They have not gone too far. It's TNC that go too far. So they're trying to back their way out, but the hook ends up working against them. They give a 3-for-1 trade away to Atlantis. And considering the position Atlantis were in, John, this is quite detrimental now for TNC. Mango Rose, he's caught up all the way to the top of the net worth board all of a sudden.
It's just the BKB timings. Your Pudge just does not deal with that. Sure, he can dismember through it, but you don't have damage. You don't have right-click to kind of use that hold from Pudge. You are reliant on Rot. We're not at the point where Bok's right-clicking like a madman yet. That takes quite a few talent spikes here. On the Dawnbreaker, you're going to need a lot more items there as well. So Atlantis are feeling good. Just with a BKB on the Legion Commander, they have a very strong foundation to just initiate for them and kind of stall out these fights. Still TNC not dissuaded. Oh no.
Yeah, mid lane. Oh? Have they caught the puck? They've got so many silences, John. The puck's got 3 silences on him. What do you do against that? No Yules, no BKB, no Lincolns. What the hell are you meant to do?
Yeah, you just kind of die, Mike. You just kind of accept it and die. At least you're buying space out. I think at this point, Atlantis just needs to play around her Ursa and the Legion Commander. Puck will become impactful downline. It will eventually find a BKB. Key thing is you can't allow the puck to be up front now. So just run in with the LC. We've seen this be successful for WS before. Bit of a clump up top. Yoe on the hunt, but not going to be able to find Ponyo, it looks like. Going to cut the creep wave. Or he might find Ponyo anyway.
Flick away, TP, but the tower kind of gave a visual indicator. Problem was the hook. Wasn't a second cooldown as the TP completed, so he had no chance to go for that hook. Atlantis going to say thank you very much for the space, though, provided by Ponyo. Again, Mango Rose just getting bigger and bigger as time goes on, and we talked about it during the draft, like this Ursa, it is going to be rather scary as time goes on. Atlantis, they'll go for a 5-man smoker. Into the mid lane, they do not want to catch Mavis here. They want anyone but Mavis. Mavis in that position to break the smoke, though. Mango, he'll have his smoke broken. The orb will give vision over the Ench, but again, it's just not the target you want to jump. I think Atlantis, they might have to accept this this smoke rotation just has not worked out. It's a bit rough for them as well, because you don't have a blink up on the Legion Commander. So there's no real good way to initiate unless your Puck or Tiny can do it. And so WS, even if he sees a potential target, he can duel up, but he can't make his way in yet. There's TNC now are going to counter smoke, and well, Ponyo's going to break it. Very nice positioning from the Tiny now with his Invis Rune. They'll get a Sentry Ward down, but it's all too late. So the Aether Remnant does end up connecting here onto the Tiny. They'll at least find something for their trouble, but it's only going to be a pos 5.
It's still better than the result for Atlantis. Again, they smoked up, didn't find anything. This opens up the Rosh just for a bit. It's not the quickest Rosh in the world here. There's enough time for Atlantis to kind of come in and get the scan off. They need to run down quick, though, as the rot is still significant on that Rosh.
That it certainly is. Roshan not going to last very long. And eventually just going to drop. I actually like this, I kind of like this item build up here from Bok as well, might I add. Like the Mage Slayer. Does it work if you just Starbreaker like 3 heroes at once?
It should. I think it does.
That's pretty good.
I think Deso applies, right? Like we talked about the Deso build-up, and it does apply, I think. So it should apply to Mage Slayer as well. And again, you're cutting off your Tiny's damage, you're cutting off the Puck damage, even a Kotal if you manage to cut him off at some point. So it's a massive boost of durability for the side of TNC, and it does allow them to play a little bit better. Atlantis, I mean, they lose Aegis. It's not something you want to see when you've got the Ursa on your side, but they're not too far behind. I think the fact that TNC only has a 1k lead means they're not really leveraging this power spike for a tangible net worth lead. They're not ahead in terms of any sort of itemization, at least not in a big way. And this makes it very playable for Atlantis as long as they've hedged their bets here.
I mean, Atlantis, they certainly want to start getting that aggression going now, understanding how powerful they are at the moment, but TNC, the slow game themselves now. Yo is going to want to wait for his own BKB up. Even has the Ghost Scepter going already on the Pudge, so just in preparation for the Ursa. Have that Ghost Scepter. Nothing like a Nullifier to come out anytime soon, but well, Mango Rose has actually queued one up here on the Ursa already. After that Basher going for the Nullifier to be able to get rid of that Ghost Scepter or of that Ghost form. Mid lane. TNC. Might see another smoke breakout here as they want to make sure they don't run into Ponyo. Wonderboy did show down at bot lane for a moment, but now he's hiding in the tree line. It's not going to be that easy to catch out. In fact, there might just be a counter smoke here, because Atlantis, they may just know exactly where they've gone. They'll pop the smoke. See if they can find themselves a good duel target. You've got that blink up now. Carlo would be a decent one. Krish is even better, though, if you can find the Void Spirit, but WS needs to make a blink in. He does find the Skywrath Mage and the Solar Guardian. It's not going to help out. In fact, Krish also being caught out of the Void Spirit. Now Bok, he will not make it to the high ground either. Slowed up. A bit vulnerable here on that Dawnbreaker as he will drop. Atlantis really cleaning up TNC here during this game 1. And now, that tier 2 mid tower, it is not going to feel very safe.
Nah, they can't hold on to it. And it just goes back to what we said earlier in the draft, Mike. TNC, they have to play this run and gun style. They needed to just keep being aggressive. They could not give Atlantis any room to breed. Because now you have to deal with this Ursa who's super tanky with a BKB. You have to deal with all the spell immunity, all this itemization. The scaling of Atlantis just feels better. And your core Pudge is... it can still be good. You can never underestimate a good hook. It just doesn't feel like Atlantis is giving any of those openings out anymore. And for TNC, they need to find something. They've had Aegis for at least 3 minutes now. 2 minutes left on it. They've not been able to do anything. They've not been able to push an objective. they've not been able to gank, and that's not what you want to see from this kind of lineup. Because if it comes down to, say, the 30-minute mark, 35-minute mark, that Ursa is just going to take over even the Puck, who had a slower start. Wonder Boy is going to be a massive threat with his own BKB up and running at some point.
Oh, of course. It's going to be a big problem. The TNC, still with the Aegis on Yoe, are going to roam around through this dire jungle, and they are going to find themselves a free pick-off here onto the Keeper of the Light. Not bad at all here for Yoe. Take that. Meanwhile, mid lane, they're going to have a look for Ponyo, but he'll blink away on the Tiny. In the meantime, the Basher is up now. So Mango Rose didn't have it last team fight, now does. Makes the team fights infinitely harder for TNC because you've got some disable on this Ursa and might have a chance to use it very, very soon, in fact. Mid lane, Krish, that's fun Ponyo. A decent pick-off if you can stop him from TPing, and they can't. Woo! Close.
Yeah, very close. Not quite close enough. Good timing on that TP, knowing that he was safe there. Bit of a standoff down bot with Mangrove just staring down, but Carlo...
Oh, a bit early. Carlo still gets the vision, though. Mango Rose, however, he just turns right back around. There's your vision, he says. So the VKB was available, he just took no damage. Yoe, I think if he waited for the... Oh, Yoe, be careful.
Oh, no.
Bashed up immediately. Celestial Hammer. He'll pop the Ghost Scepter, though. Now the duel out from WS to hold down the Dawnbreaker. Yoe's going to dismember, but it won't matter. He's lost the Aegis already. Meanwhile, Krish, though, to come in. They've got Mango Rose. It's a decent team fight now for TNCs. They've got the Ursa. They've even got the LC. A very nice hook. Yoe connecting. Does take him out. So it still costs you 2 heroes. It costs you the Aegis, but you do find the Ursa and the Pulse 3 LC. Ultimately, not too bad for TNC.
Not the worst thing in the world. Still not very clean. I'm sure Atlantis isn't feeling too bad about that overall exchange. Would have loved to see that Ursa live through. But again, you're just kind of trying to suppress TNC from playing a fast game. They will still have this opportunity to maybe shove out a lane or two. Their push progression is still kind of static. Krish is on the hunt, though.
He is. Aether Remnant's going to be on target, and with the hook,
Ooh,
no
what?
escaping here. What's wrong, John?
No, I always forget. Just Caster always looks funny.
Yeah.
And does that. It's like, woo, woo. It's just threading through. That needle just flies right across, Mike.
Hey, are you telling me you'd like the hook to be blocked by Ancients?
That would be actually busted, because you can farm Ancients with
No, I'm not saying you can kill them. Ponyo, he's going to get caught out. So they do find the Tiny. John, what I'm implying is, what if they block the hook, but you can't just one-hit kill them? Like, they take 200 damage or 300 damage, whatever.
That would be a good balancing factor, I think. Just, I don't know if it's necessary, because, you know, Pudge is still a very situational hero, even though he's just, like, a really good pause 1 right now because of the meta, but... I don't know if you need to nerf him that hard, Mike. It won't bury him. It'll just make it funnier, I guess. You know what? Yeah, do it. So it's funny.
All right. There goes
you know what, Mike?
Yeah.
I got an idea as well. Yeah, you see that? We've been seeing that flesh heap, right? I think on the persona, it should just be a lot of cotton. You know, a lot of fluff. He's a doll, right? So instead of all that weird bubbly flesh, it's just a lot of cottony fluff from his open stitches.
I like that. I think he already has an animation for it as well.
Put it in, Valve. We need it.
Yeah.
Change it, because this is weird, especially with a pig pole. just a blob.
It is just a blob. Well, state of this game, John. The 2k net worth lead here for TNC. Neither team truly feeling comfortable, it seems, here on the map right now, as even TNC holding that dire triangle. Not necessarily comfortable. Mid lane, WS is going to show up. TNC, they'd love to pick off the LC if they could catch him, but so many creeps blocking the way. There's a standoff in the mid lane now, as they are going to reveal their position here on TNC. Smoke has been popped. Atlantis, they want to try and punish this Void Spirit. Aghanim Scepter now up onto the Keeper as well, so Will-O-Wisp is up and available for this next team fight. TNC, they back off at the right time. Keep in mind, they do have observer wards around this area to have the vision advantage. Atlantis, still looking around. Not blinking in yet, but eventually they will see Bok, and with the duel out, they should have enough damage. And they will. That'll be 1 down. Carlo, he'll get caught out by the Dream Coil as well. Not looking great here for TNC as Mavis. Oh, he gets caught out mid-TP. That's going to be a third kill here for Atlantis. Smavis, oh, by a little bit of time, but nowhere near enough. Triple kill to go the way of the Ursa as well to make matters worse. And for TNC, that team fight couldn't have gone much worse.
Yeah, it's just a great flank out from Atlantis, smoking outside of these wards the TNC planted, and just managing to work the angle. They weave in through the river and get the jump they need. All the cores, the big cores of TNC that could manage it did go away, although Krish...
Yeah, getting caught now. Ponyo with the toss-up and Krish in trouble. The silence was there with the Mindbreaker of Mango Rose, but no bash. Or was there? No, I don't believe there was. Not onto Krish.
No. Unfortunately, no bash is out. And Krish does get to live for another day. Is working towards an Aeon disc, so not going to be easy to burst down. We'll always have that opportunity to bail out. You've got the blink up now on Yoe. So you can start these fights with a blink BKB Dismember. And that could be the way to go here for the side of TNC, having that one strong lockdown before the BKBs fly on. Try to find that pick off and go into a fight with the numbers advantage.
Yoe. Initiation onto Wonder Boy. He's held onto the hook, so he could throw one out, and he's going to be right on target. Oh, it's perfect. Yoe just going for the most obvious hook possible, and sometimes it is just the obvious path that works the best, John.
Yeah. Building up on that Pudge. Still a bit behind Mango Rose. 2k lead up for the Ursa. Battle for you certainly showing its work. And into the Roche, Atlantis goes. They lose their puck, but they've got a clean line to Roshan. Was scouted out, but not quickly enough. Now you have to deal with 2 lives on Mango Rose. The Ursa just looking pretty massive now, along with a shard. So you've got that additional enrage coming through. Again, the stat resist is going to ruin that single target control of TNC. TNC, though, smoking up off the back of that. Have to see if they find anything. Hard retreat for Atlantis, not opting to push the envelope too hard.
They've got the Nullifier as well here for Mango Rose, John. He just got it off the courier, so this could be a very bad team fight for TNC if they're not too cautious. Atlantis, they seem to know the smoke's coming in as well. They'll make the jump in. Ahmed, or rather, the Coddle does get caught out. In they go, though, with the Solar Guardian. They'll try to get it done onto the Pudge. They'll take down another. Yoe's gone, but now TNC, maybe they've grouped them up. Maybe they can take the fight. Mango Rose, he's in the middle of all this, but he's cleaving them down. It's a lot of chaos in this mid lane. In fact, never mind. Mango Rose is going to clean up. Krish, not going to be so safe, but is still fine to get out of there. And apologies to Ahya, John. I called him Ahmad, I think, in the middle of the team fight. Completely mixed that up. You can't blame me, though, John. It's a bit hard mixing up the two. You know where I'm from.
I know, Mikey. I know where you're from, Mikey. It's all good. And that was not all good for TNC, though. Again, they forced the fight into the Aegis. They almost got the first life of Mango Rose. Just not quite enough damage. The Ignis Fat is just doing way too much. And just share the damage as well. I mean, the downtime on that Will-O-Wisp is not that long at all when you chalk yourself, so always going to be there to disrupt these fights, and TNC, without any sort of BKBs on most of their major cores, just feels awkward, although...
Yeah, Dream Coil snap, the Void Spirit in trouble, Jewel is there, WS holds him down, and Mango Rose picks up his 11th kill of the game here on this Ursa. I suppose this was always kind of the problem, like TNC, they dominate the lanes, as expected, but after the initial 20 minutes of the game, it just doesn't feel like they've got any real control here. Like, it's so reliant on Krish making a jump in and hitting a remnant into a billion silences, but you've gotten to a stage now where there's so many ways of purging off said silences. You start to wonder how TNC try to claw their way back into the game.
It feels like you shift your win condition. You go away from the Pudge, you start building up on Bach, allow him to reach this point with the Dawnbreaker, where he's just ridiculously high HP, has a lot of damage on his Luminosity crits, and kind of run them down from there. That's still a long ways off for Bach, though. He is opting for the Ags build-up, a little bit more healing, some evasion that works well against the Ursa is always nice. But I think, yeah, it's about time to maybe shift your conditions a bit, because the Pudge is not going to have an easy time. Like, Yoe can maybe pull someone back, and that's your ideal situation, but in a straightforward fight, you can't just dismember someone down. If you want to go for the Ursa, then you can just enrage at the very least beforehand. There's enough time before the dismember comes through for you to tap that R button, and the stat resist runes him. So I think that's the ideal for TNC. Whether or not they have enough time to kind of switch around on that prioritization is another question. It does feel like Atlantis recognizes the strength they have, just shove in the waves, not give any opportunities, control the triangle, and take out pretty much all the outer towers. So only one left here for TNC. Age is still up for a minute and a half. That's more than enough time for Mangaros if he does want to commit onto the high ground.
Still holding out. We'll just hold the triangle for a moment there. TNC, I suppose, do have some decent high ground hold here with this punch. As your 5-man smoke out. And go Rose. Still has the Aegis for another minute. Has his BKB in the backpack, but just doesn't need it for that first life. He needs a target right now, but a very nice scan from TNC. Gonna get the information they need. Onto the high ground, there they go, as the Will-O-Wisp is gonna be dropped, and in they jump. Yoe, he's been caught out immediately. Jewel is out, Yoe's gone. No buyback on the Pudge. They do at least find Ponyo. That's about all they've got here for TNC, though, as they're gonna lose more. Krish is gone a boot. He'll commit the buyback. Mango Rose, at the very least, is getting low, but Johnny has that secondary life available. They'll keep chasing. They'll at least take down WS. Do they want to keep the fight going? Atlantis hanging around as in goes Mango Rose, taking out Carlo. Onto Bok, that'll be another. They have buybacks. Aegis 18 seconds away from expiring, and Mango, he might just call it at that. 10 more seconds to go, but he does seem to be reset already. It doesn't seem like they'll risk it.
It's a fair call. That was pretty awkward from TNC. Instant blink in on Yoe. Maybe he was trying to go for the Shard Dismember to save. It doesn't quite pay off. Didn't manage to pop his BKB before getting chain stunned. And Atlantis are punished for that foray onto the high ground. They only lose their offlane and pause fight. It's not the most painful experience. Your Ursa is still building up. You have a 13k lead. Look at that difference here between Mango Rose and Yoe Mike. Almost 10k gold of difference between that Pudge and the Ursa. It's just a difficult game for Yoe. You do have other scaling options here on TNC though. We've seen it before. Mavis can try to shift around on the Enchantress, try to go for a more core buildup, is already set up for that with at least the power treads and Hurricane fight being done. So Mavis could be that pure damage they need to rip through the Ursa down the line. Again, it needs way more time to get that done. With the deficit they have on hand, Atlantis could still gun for the end game here, already being 1 racks up. They might end up waiting for next Roshan though, 2 minutes until we see that back up. And that would be some time for TNC to recover. They will go for a smoke play here.
They will. TNC. Last team fight for them, John. They don't have many buybacks left. They need to make this one work. Mango Rose, he's going to make the jump in. Or rather, Yoe is, and they're going to try for the Ursa, but he's still perfectly fine. They'll get the Tiny instead, but Mango Rose, he's just going to man up. Oh, Bok and Yoe are already gone. There goes Krish with a dieback. It might be that time. He just literally just tanked through it. They'll commit the buyback on Bok. It is still a very important series for TNC Predator, and every game matters, but it's a 1v4 situation to defend these racks. And if you're Atlantis, you just go straight Megas. In fact, make that 2v4. They've got another buyback now at the edge. GG.
Nah, they tough. Yeah, it's too tough. They missed their timing in TNC. They have a really good start. It looks like they understood what they had to do. They constantly ran up. Force these engagements before the BKBs, before any major items were up. Like, we saw how slow that game was for Wonderboy. He wasn't able to hit the BKB. We pointed out multiple times he had nothing defensive, no U-ults for the silences. BKB took a while. But then TNC just kind of stopped. They allow the Ursa to farm. You reach this point with Mango Rose where he's unstoppable, and the scaling kicks in for Atlantis in a big way, where TNC's lineup just looked great in the first 15 to 20 minutes, and then tapers off hard. And they just weren't able to use that first 15 to 20 minutes to really maximize their advantage there, Mike.
Yeah, certainly didn't, John, but we'll see what they do in game number 2. We are going to head off to a very short break, and after that break, we'll see if TNC Predator can force us to a game number 3, or whether Atlantis can sort out a 2-0 victory here against TNC. Till then, it is MLP and JohnXfire, and we'll enjoy some ads during the break time. We'll see you very soon.